Hi guys, this is Max, back again with hopefully another great political video, and today we're going to take a look at the exit polls of the 2016 and 2020 presidential election. Now, here we can see the differences between back then and today, and we can see how the election would have gone different if certain demographics would have voted another way. Okay? Alright, what do we see here? Before I get into this video, though, I'd like to point out that exit polls are not the most accurate thing in the world. If they were correct, John Kerry would have become president since he would have carried Ohio, according to exit polls. But he didn't, and that's the reason why you should take all of that with a grain of salt. Anyway, now let's get to it. In terms of the male-female breakdown, Donald Trump and Joe Biden did around the same. Donald Trump did actually exact the same with male voters in 2020 as he did in 2016. He did it the same with female voters as he did in 2016, but Joe Biden did pick up a few percent in both directions, so that's probably why he won. Now, in terms of ethnical breakdown, 32% of Latino voters voted for Donald Trump and 65% voted for Joe Biden, according to this exit poll measurement. But to be completely honest, I think that the amount of Latinos that supported Trump was a bit higher than just 32%. I mean, you just have to look at the election results from a state like Texas, for example. You can't even point this out enough. These counties right here in the border area that are majority Hispanic counties, Donald Trump even won one of them. And I have a hard time believing that he only got 32% of the Latino vote nationwide. But I assume that's just the way how exit polls sometimes don't exactly reflect reality. Other than that, the black vote stayed almost exactly the same. Donald Trump did increase to 12%. It's really interesting to see how much effort the Trump campaign put into winning the black vote. That was not really a winning strategy. Not because black voters don't matter, but simply because these people never really tend to vote Republican. Other than that, however, Biden won every single demographic except for white voters. And age-wise, it is true that Joe Biden would, as you might expect a Democrat, he did better with younger voters, but Donald Trump won all the voters from above 45. So, yeah, kind of fulfills the cliche that older people are more Republican. Another cliche that's also true is apparently that people with no college degree are more likely to vote for Donald Trump, even though they only barely voted for him. It was 50 to 48. There are surprisingly many working class Democrats out there. They're still a thing, believe me. Married people apparently choose Trump over Biden, and so did gay people. Yeah, gay people overwhelmingly voted for Biden, but there were lots of gays who voted for Trump as well, so that's the thing. Do you have any children under 18 live in your home? That's of course interesting to see. But yeah, apparently these people slightly favor both. That didn't make a difference. Some voted for Biden, some voted for Trump. Now, here we get it. In terms of evangelicals, Donald Trump heavily won the evangelical vote. And in terms of income, the more money you own, the more likely you were to back. Okay, if you were. Yeah, the more likely you were to back Donald Trump. Yeah. Now, this is something that was to be expected. If some people actually believe that their situation got better simply because they like the incumbent president, some actually believe they got worse because the president was in office. People who have a political bias always tend to blame their problems on the guy who's currently in office. Yeah, that was to be expected. Alright, there are lots of questions here, so we'd better get to the important ones. In terms of the military vote, Donald Trump won the military vote, but he didn't win it by as much as past Republicans did. And in terms of, conservatives voted for Trump, liberals voted for Biden. What would you expect? And yeah, there was very few crossover support from one side to the other. There were a few right-leaning independents that backed Joe Biden and that gave him his victory in the suburbs, but that's not shown here. In which part of the country do you live? East, Midwest, South. Donald Trump won Midwest and South, and Joe Biden won the West and the East. Yeah, Middle America versus Coastal America. And Biden slightly won the suburban vote, apparently. But he didn't win the urban vote by as much as I would have thought. Yeah, okay. Black men, 90% of black men voted for Trump. So there are apparently a lot more black male voters than you'd think. Not all blacks are apparently, or they're obviously not all of them are Democrats. I'm not gonna go out there like Joe Biden and say if you vote for Trump, then you ain't black. No, I'm certainly not gonna do that. You should be voting for whomever you prefer. But the only two demographics which Trump won were white men and white women. He did do well with Latino men, though, so just wanted to point that out. What was Biden's, perhaps his biggest strength, though, the demographic from which he increased the most, from which he picked up most voters, were probably white college graduates. Because that is a demographic which historically always backed the Republicans. Those were the wealthy suburban people that voted for the Reds and then ended up flipping to the Democrats simply because they didn't like the orange man. That's simple. Even though in one of my other videos I also intensively explained that much of the suburban shift can be referred back to changing demographics, particularly with the growing black population in those areas. But anyway, I hope you liked this video. It's really nice to check out, like, the exit polls and who voted for whom. They're not entirely reliable, but if you like this video, comments and subscriptions are greatly appreciated. And please excuse me if I talked a bit weird today. I was kind of sick, and I hope you can forgive me. As right now, see you next time, and Max out.